I don't know if you heard, but there's actually an actress that's sorry, not an act. No, let's not call her an actress. Let's not start that.
It's tough, right?
Let's not
It's
start her off with that.
it's tough.
It's very odd. It's very odd. But there's literally an AI actress that's being courted by
Yeah,
Hollywood talent agencies, creative agencies, and they're trying to get work for this AI actress. It's a completely artificial AI actress. And it's blowing my mind that there's actually talent agents who are trying, like, well, I can't say that it that it perplexes me too much about these agents wanting to get on board with this. If they see an opportunity to make money, they're going to take it. They get paid on
sure.
commission.
Yep.
But the precedent that this is going to set is kind of crazy. Is kind of crazy. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to it too, but it's pretty nuts. What have you heard and what are your sort of feelings on the whole thing?
Yeah, I saw it going viral recently, and
We should tell the folks at home her name is Tilly Norwood if you want to look this up. Tilly
yeah, Tilly
Norwood. What a
Norwood.
name for an
Tilly
AI
Norwood.
actress too, right? Like
It's memorable. I
it
mean,
is
for
memorable.
one,
It is
yeah, it's
memorable.
very memorable.
Yeah.
I saw images online. The images are spectacular. I mean, they look great, and the video. I mean, the video still gives a little bit of uncanny valley. The eyes. It's always the eyes that do it for me.
Right.
But we have come a long way since the Polar Express type of AI.
Yep.
It's setting a precedent. It's going to be irresistible to some to use AI. I mean, it's a cost saving measure. You don't have to deal with temperamental talent. You don't have to worry about injuries on the set. You
Yep.
don't have to worry about them not showing up for work
Yep.
or any kind of moral failings. This is
There are so many upsides that
right.
AI fixes or addresses. Like there's so much upside to doing it
It's
where I can
very tempting.
justify seeing people being conflicted about actually bringing it into the production process.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily look at it and go, "How dare you?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, it's sorry. Sorry, finish your thought.
No, I mean, I'm the same way. If I'm a producer making a movie and I'm looking out for the bottom line,
Yeah,
it's going to be real tempting not to use AI as a cost saving measure. I mean, every job has some sort of AI already built in. I mean, or trying to be built in. And when they say it's coming for our jobs, there's a little bit of truth to that. Like I interviewed on my podcast a guy that created an entirely humanless restaurant, all robots making pizza, and it's in an airport in Ohio.
holy
And
shit.
I asked him, I was like, what do you say to people that say AI is going to, you're taking jobs from people? This could be a food stall in the airport where you're employing people, but you're
Yeah,
taking their jobs away. He said, I'm not taking their jobs away. I'm creating new jobs. I'm creating different jobs. I'm creating a job that pays more than somebody that would be making a pizza. They would now be managing and taking care of this because you still need humans to run these things. So AI, it's really tricky. I mean, especially in Hollywood. I mean, for our genre of what we watch, right? Sci-fi, fantasy, we're kind of used to seeing a lot of AI. I mean, Alita Battle Angel, for instance, was entirely, AI, albeit they were, motion capture. That's just one step below Tilly, right? I mean, de-aging is a thing now, which is still a little weird.
yep.
We're seeing a lot of de-aging technology in some movies, and that's what the SAG-AFTRA strike was all about. Is they have built-in guardrails for this, right? They talked about. I was watching an interview with the who's the new president now. He was one of the guys from Lord of the Rings. I can't remember his name, but he's saying, look, if you want to use AI, great, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay us for it, and so I think the strikes kind of saw down the line in the future and have created this, but it is tempting not to use it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's already deepfake trailers. I saw some internet reactions to some fake Avengers Doomsday trailers where people were like flipping out, but it was all like AI generated, not real.
Wow.
So that's where we're at now, where you have to kind of question everything. But
Yep.
good on these programmers to create this. Is where the future's going. And as far as agents representing, like, who are you representing? Are you representing the creators? Are you representing this code of zeros and ones? And how does the split go? Do you take your normal cut and then the creators, the software designers, get what one actor would normally get? Now they got to split it up between a few different coders and AI house. I mean, who knows?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. So I don't know if you heard, but SAG-AFTRA has already sort of kind of made their voice heard on this, and
Hmm.
they feel that it's exploitative and dehumanizing. Now, I find it funny that they're using the word dehumanizing because it's not human.
Right.
So is it dehumanizing and exploitive to living actors? Like, is that the case that they're trying to make? Is that it's not
Maybe.
necessarily yeah, like, I I don't know who they're talking about because I don't think it necessarily applies to an AI actor, you know? But then again, it takes us into that realm of do we like, is it a dark place for humanity to get to where we are treating these things like they're commodities and not like sentient beings? Like, I see a better world where we have some sort of level of sentient respect for these things, because otherwise we get to a really, really dark place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I say please and thank you to ChatGPT all the time.
So do I.
At some point it's going to become sentient, and I want to be known as the polite guy that asked
Yeah.
it to do things nicely.
Yeah.
It's just that's just kind of it's just where I'm at, but it's tough to say. It's tough to say of, when we talk about dehumanizing, I think what they mean by dehumanizing is you're belittling human effort that goes into acting. You've made it, like what you're saying, a commodity. You made it commonplace, and that there's no skill involved in acting other than typing out a code or typing out a command now.
Right.
And there's just a you don't need to have gone to Juilliard now to be an actor and learn the craft and the skill and the art of acting. You can just tell Tilly Norwood, emulate this person and go. And there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's very possible you could have a completely AI generated movie. I mean, there's already or AI generated short films. Even in the podcast world, there's complete podcast companies that are all AI and churning out output within minutes of a major event before us humans can get in there and record something.
Well,
So
speaking of
it's
that,
yeah,
speaking of some of the stuff that's coming out of Sora too, I don't know if you've seen some of these clips, but they're pretty insane. Like, you can
yeah,
actually put yourself into the videos. Like, you can actually put yourself into the Sora videos. Now, that feature is only available through the iOS version of the app. So it basically builds like it builds a digital composite of you and puts you into your videos. So I've
that's
already
crazy.
seen podcasters already using it. There's one guy, and that's the guy I got my invite code from. He's already got videos of him hanging out with superheroes like on a rooftop. And he's a
That's nuts.
podcaster that talks about comic book and superhero shit. Same thing as us. He's in the geek
Yeah,
speak space. And he's already got videos of him like on a rooftop talking to superheroes. Granted, the superheroes aren't exactly one to one as far as the design of them or the look of them, but it's really interesting. But have you seen the content that's been passing around social media that's coming from Sora?
yeah. I mean, it looks so real. Like I have to question everything now. Like I'm looking at things, I'm scrutinizing it. I'm like, is this AI? Like this is crazy how good some of this stuff looks, and how quickly we got here. Right? It seemed like not that long ago this wasn't even a thing, and now we got Tilly. So it's just crazy. The speed and the cost of all this stuff is starting to come down, and
Yep.
being able to for us to use us normies, and you don't have to have a ton of money. It's crazy. I don't know. I mean, is Hollywood, are actors done at this point? Like, how long is it going to be before, we see a completely AI generated movie without humans being involved except for coders?
Well, I've done the math actually because I was interested in this myself because, like, I just started my production company back in January, Frankenstory Studios, and I'm looking at ways in which I can scale and, where I can apply AI to my projects to help me move faster, finish things more efficiently, like just kind of fill in some of these gaps. And what I've discovered is that there's a real opportunity for filmmakers and for creators to create spec projects or to create like sort of introduction projects, like you're almost kind of creating like a pilot. And instead of like doing a 30-minute TV series, you could do a 5-minute clip based on the characters with like the best moment, the best part of your script. You could do that really quickly, and you could get that done really quickly and get that out to the right decision makers and actually turn that into something that may lead to a bigger opportunity. So that is definitely something very tangible and very viable right now,
I mean, that's the Deadpool effect, right? That's how
Yeah,
Deadpool got into theaters is
100%. The trailer.
a computerized previs got out and
Yeah,
leaked, and here we are, years later with Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's $1 billion franchise. So yeah, exactly right.
yeah, absolutely. I want to know, how do you feel about AI in general, as far as in the entertainment landscape, in the artistic landscape? Like, what's your overall philosophy and consensus with it thus far?
I mean, as a consumer, I kind of look forward to seeing what can come out of this because as a consumer, I just want to be entertained. And if you tell a good story using computers, great. As a person, as a human, I do kind of, if this thing, if the Tillies of the world take off, right? I do feel bad for those actors that are going to be replaced by computers and that their art and their craft can be, boiled down to ones and zeros and so I'm kind of torn. For me, I feel like acting needs to have that human element to connect. I get the technology's there to make Tilly look
I agree.
impressive
Yep,
and to make her look more human like, but as I was watching some of the videos with Tilly, it's still, and I mean, I knew it was AI, so maybe that had some bias to it. If you didn't tell me, maybe I'd feel differently. And if I had to guess, maybe differently. But I still need to feel that human connection by looking at the eyes of an actor when they act and seeing them emote in the way that actors emote. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think AI is coming. Do you lean in and use it as a tool? Do you lean in and use it as another brush in your art case as an artist? I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as a consumer, I just want to be entertained in any way that works for me as a consumer. But on the other side of that, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough for actors. It's
okay, so
already
let me
hard
ask you
enough to
this.
to be actors.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Would knowing that something is AI prohibit you from engaging with it? Is that something, like, cuz like I'm not 100% sure about this yet. Like, I don't know how I would right now answer that question, because I don't want to see artists be overshadowed. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah,
And I think right now, the market, unfortunately, we're not as media literate as we used to be. And I feel like our threshold for what is entertaining, what is substantive, what is technically sound, like our nose for quality, I think has weakened. You know what I mean? I see a lot of that. And I understand that, or my fear is that there will be mass market adoption because of the mass market embracing it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I, like, for instance, in a world of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, South Park, King of the Hill, I don't want 1,000 Friends, episodes of
yeah,
Friends. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, that's my sort of comparison. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the low bar. You know what I mean? Like, when I start thinking about, where would the threshold be between what AI can do and what humans can do, and where would the margin be where they couldn't touch each other? And the one thing I keep coming back to is, I think that scene in Multiverse of Madness in WandaVision, or sorry, in Multiverse of Madness, when Wanda understands that she needs to take herself out.
yeah,
She's gone too far. She sees herself through the eyes of her kids, and she says to herself, "Okay, that's it. I've gone too far. My kids see me as a monster. I got to do something about this, and I have to take responsibility for myself." I don't think AI is going to make that connection, that they could use that scene with Wanda's kids to take Wanda to that place. I think that's a very, very human thing. I don't think AI gets there. So I don't think AI can come up as far as humans do, as far as creativity can, or as far as creativity does, or as far as creativity. But I think technically it obviously covers a lot of distance, like the actual scene design, creation, color correction, the actual physical elements of what is on a screen, I think are a much more attainable. But as far as the soul and the spirit and the sentiment and the emotion that goes into creating these stories, I don't know if it can get there. Like, I don't know if it can get there. What do you think about that?
yeah. I think Hollywood always learns the wrong lessons from things. And I think the first time an AI generated movie makes $1 billion, that's
Yeah.
what you're going to keep seeing. And that's unfortunately that's what happens. They see one thing that makes a lot of money, you're going to see a lot of things copying that. And I think here the market's going to dictate it, right? If you somebody's going to do it at some point, somebody's going to make an AI generated movie and put it out there and see what happens. If it bombs, nobody's going to do it again. If it makes a ton of money, you're going to see copycats, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's true.
You asked earlier, is would I see something completely AI and would I engage with it? I probably would out of curiosity the first time and
Out of
kind of see what
novelty.
happens.
Out of
Yeah, as a
novelty.
novelty.
Yeah.
But if I started seeing just one AI project after another, I probably wouldn't. I would enjoy the novelty, and I think that's where they should use AI is use it as a novelty. I don't want to see it replacing
No.
entire movies, entire people,
Right.
and think like put Tilly Norwood as like a sidekick to a character in a movie, and let's see what happens and kind of see how people react to it. What honestly, whatever makes the money is what's going to happen in Hollywood.
Yeah. No, no, it's completely true. And that's the problem is that financially it's so attractive as a tool because it
Yeah,
does eliminate so much overhead. It does eliminate so much liability. It does eliminate so many things that could hamper a production very quickly. Like
yeah.
it basically eliminates that stuff. And
I mean, imagine if we had an AI Jonathan Majors. We wouldn't have seen that whole situation go down the way it did, and Kang might still be a thing in the MCU.
true.
That that's the kind of thing that AI solves is you don't have to worry about those things and you can stay on track with whatever vision you had in mind. Humans are humans, and whenever something happens, you got to be able to pivot. And with that eliminates that. You don't have to pivot. You can just stay on course. But who knows?
Yeah, like I want to go back to what I was saying about the whole Wanda or the whole multiverse of madness scene. Like I just think that there I think that there's a certain distance that AI is not going to be able to cover. And
Hmm.
one of those things I think is the way that humans identify what stories need to be told. You know what I mean? Like they look at the world around them, they look at the day to day, and they say to themselves, how can I use what I can do better than anybody else, which is tell stories or create art or whatever? How can I use what I can do to make the world a little bit of a better place? Right? And that's what's led to a lot of art. Like, let's just be honest. That's been that's been the pure inspiration behind art for, since the dawn of time is like to convey a message, to move people, right? You want to move people. That's why I got into this business because I wanted to move people. Like, I don't know if I told this story to you. I think I've told this on this podcast, but probably like a lot of episodes ago. But I really didn't get immersed into this world until the end of my last relationship. And it was because I was kind of like in a dark place. I was having a lot of trouble sort of figuring out where do I kind of go from here. And it was during the golden age of television, Breaking Bad, Lost,
Mm.
Justified, The Americans, etc. And I just became so immersed and I was so blown away at the quality of storytelling where I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. Like, what can I do to be a part of this? And I keep thinking back to how moved I was to do something in the wake of seeing these programs or the wake of seeing these stories. It's not necessarily the programs itself, it's the experiences that these characters had. It's these interactions that they had. It's their insights, it's the quality of their thoughts. It's all these things. They're all compounded. They're all compounded. And that's what I want to do for people. And that's what I want art to continue to do for people is to move people. And I don't know if AI is going to move people. That's the thing. I think I think that there's something. I don't necessarily want to call it a soul because I want this to be as secular as I possibly can make it. But I think there's something within us that is just going to fail to connect with AI at that level where we get moved by it. You know what I mean? I think, you know what? We can say, hey, that was cool. Like, that's really, really cool. That looks awesome. That's really cool. But to be moved to it, or sorry, to be moved by it, to be moved to tears, to be moved to like some profound um thought or idea or you know what I mean? I just don't think AI gets us there. I just feel like for some reason there's got to be something even across the screen that connects from one human to another, you know? You kind of feel it. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you can recall lots of things you've watched where you're like, I get what that person was going through when they wrote that.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
get what that person was trying to say. And I don't think I'm doing that with AI because in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, it calculated a bunch of ideas and it looked at probabilities and and it basically found the best way to manipulate me into feeling this way. It doesn't actually feel this way. So why should I feel this way? It's just manipulating me to feel this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, humans have this natural ability to detect things that aren't human, if that makes sense. And a big reason for that is empathy. Humans have a capability of empathy that AI won't have. And that's what you're talking about, is being able to identify with a character, not just me as a viewer and them as an actor, but actors within the same movie, and being to be empathetic to each other's situation in the realm of that world that they created.
Yeah.
And then us being able to transfer our empathy onto that character. AI can't do that. There are emotional moments. Animated movies like with Pixar, they're all computer generated. The opening credit of Up. I mean, who hasn't cried
Yeah, but
in that opening
the
credit of
writer
Up?
is the one driving the emotional experience of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes back to what I was saying. You need to be able to see beyond the screen and see the human behind it to really be moved by it. I really truly believe that.
Yeah.
And
AI is just not there yet.
yeah, and I don't know if it will ever I don't know if it will ever get there. I think that there's a very important reason why the word art is in the word heart. If you think about it,
Yeah.
art is in
Yeah.
the word heart. And I
Yeah.
think that there's a very important reason behind that. And I don't know the epistemology of the word art. Maybe, maybe somebody can look that up and send that to us, but there's something there. There's something beyond that. And I always want art to be a human thing. But I agree with you. I think that there is an appeal to AI to be more of a novelty.
Mhm.
And if it can get beyond the novel phase, then yeah, then it's kind of like all bets are off and we don't know where the hell we're headed. But it'll be interesting. But yeah,
Yep.
so let's jump into our next topic. I wanted to talk about James Gunn,
Oh,
Batman.
James Gunn.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about James Gunn lately. I want to be completely clear about something before we go into this, okay? I have nothing but love for James Gunn. I've defended James Gunn like he's my favorite uncle, okay? My favorite weird uncle that shows up at Christmas. I've defended him countlessly. I think he's great. I think he's an amazing filmmaker. I do not agree with some of his recent choices, but I'm allowed to do that because I don't need to agree with everything that he does to be a fan of his. And for some reason, that's become a culture and I reject that culture. So, not
Yeah.
interested.
Yep.
You won't find any of that, the team play here. We don't do that shit. We talk about ideas, we talk about the people in the industry and we try to talk about them in a case by case basis. Even if
Yep.
somebody shits the bed tomorrow and does something that warrants them being canceled and comes out with something a year later that we like and that we enjoy, we're still going to talk about that person separately from their work. We'll talk about their work and we'll talk about them. But we don't cross that over. That doesn't happen on this show.
Yep.
Anyways, I just didn't. Sorry. It wasn't. I just want to talk about James Gunn. I want to talk about his appearance on Two Bears, One Cave with Segura. Did you happen to see some of the things that James was saying about Batman? I found them very interesting, very compelling, and I think that there's a lot to kind of unpack here.
I haven't listened to this particular podcast, but I've seen other things that he's talked about with Batman. And I'm like you, I'm a big James Gunn fan, but with him right now, it's kind of like what happens when the dog gets the car. And I feel like that's what we're seeing right now a little bit. And with Batman, we talked about this in a previous podcast. This is the one movie they got to get right. And I think right now, his biggest mistake, and again, I'm not in the industry, so who am I to say? But for me as a consumer, his biggest mistake is allowing two Batmen to be in the same room, because comparisons are going to be inevitable. I mean, you can yell Elseworlds as much as you want, but
Yeah,
that's just not going to be the case. The smartest thing for him to have done was either canonize Matt Reeves' Batman and let Matt Reeves do Batman, or just say, okay, we're starting over. This is DC. Your Batman doesn't matter. You're not making any more Batman movies. This is my Batman movie now. But he's going to let Matt Reeves do his Batman. Gunn's going to do his Batman, and we're just going to have a Batman cage fight. And I think that's dumb, because you're watering down your product by doing that. And if you want to go Elseworlds, then go full Elseworlds and do like Gotham by Gaslight and make it so disconnected that you can't really make the comparison. So for me, I don't know what he's thinking by allowing two Batmen to be in the same room at the same time in such short periods.
Yeah.
That's my thought right now.
Yeah. I feel like he's a monkey with a machine gun right now. You know, like he's got the CEO chair. He self-authored all the way through Superman. He self-authored he self-authored authored through every DC property he's worked on thus far. A little bit too much, in my opinion. Superman, again, if you guys watch this show, you guys already know how I feel about Superman, so I'll make it very short. He shot the bed on Superman. Like, there's just, yeah, you can't get away from that. I know people enjoyed it. I know people liked it. I know critics liked it. But when you have a story about Superman where you write him to be completely irrelevant to the two climaxes of the film, you shat the bed. Like that's a definition of shitting the bed. So again, I feel like he's a monkey with a machine gun, and you're right. The two Batman question is what is going to cause the most issues. It's going to cause the most issues, and I can't figure out for the life of me with this amazing opportunity on his plate to be the CEO of DC why he would even get close to this issue. Like, why would you even entertain the idea? Like, you should be doing the bare minimum to get to the middle right now, especially like right out the gate. You should be doing the bare minimum to get to the middle. Instead, you're a monkey with a machine gun, and you're shooting for the stars, and you're doing it in a way where you have no sense of where, like, what the probability of success is. Like,
Yeah.
you can't calculate for this. Like, there's no possible way to say to yourself, you know what? I can pull this off. I can have two Batman. I can have them both exist at the same time in the same franchise and have them both be successful, have them both be loved by fans, have them both be loved by critics. No,
No.
impossible.
Nope. You can't do that. Yeah.
Because, James, I'm going to tell you this right now, brother. I'm going to tell you this right now. We don't want to see an Adam West version of Batman. We do not want to see that shit. Okay? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see the Superman version of Batman. Okay? The Hope Core stuff, we do not want that. We do not want the camp. We want a real Batman story. Like, we want a real Batman story. Now, I'm encouraged by what you said on Tom Segura's podcast, Two Bears, One Cave, because you were talking about Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. Rest in peace, the both gentlemen. Both great creatives, both amazing. And he was talking about how much he loved the 70s stuff, the Batman 70s stuff, the gothic, the horror, the weirdo supernatural stuff. If he wants to take Batman there and like twist it into some Court of Owl shit or some Ra's al Ghul shit, I'm in. I'm down. Like, let's go there.
Yeah.
Right? Because Matt can stay on the street and fight the Joker and fight the Riddler and keep it all sort of like hyper realistic. And James can go into this other potentially direction of like the Justice League Dark type of direction, right?
Yep.
But don't go
I mean,
camp,
he'd have
dude.
to.
Yeah.
He'd have to. Because if Matt Reeves Batman, the Batman 2, it's gonna continue the theme of what the Batman 1 was, which was gritty, street level, realistic. If Batman were to exist today,
Yeah.
that's what he would be.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go in the other direction. Now, the fear that we both have is it going to be Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, or is it going to be Brave and the Bold, right? And we're going to see Blue Beetle making a cameo appearance in Batman. Like, I want to be proven wrong about this so much, but I can't imagine both Batman movies. Well, one of them is going to do well. I'm just going to say one of them is going to do well. One of them's not. I don't know which one is going to do well, but I want to be proven wrong that two Batman can exist in the same space. I want them both to do well. I just don't see that happening because you're diluting the Batman brand. Let one be and see where it goes. I think he's got to have his hand in everything, that he has to have his Batman out there. Yeah. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that this may be a little bit driven by ego?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got it. He's got his sandbox now.
Yeah.
He's got all the toys in the toy box to play with. He wants to play with them all.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening around him. That's why I was saying if it were me in the DC chair, I would look at the Batman and go, that's a good franchise. And Matt Reeves said he wants to make a trilogy out of it. I would have been like, let's canonize this thing. Let's make his Batman the DCU Batman. Let's find a way to fold him into the DCU and take a good thing and run with it, as opposed to trying to shoehorn something else into it. Because I like the Batman. I was skeptical when I heard Robert Pattinson as Batman. I was like, the shiny vampire is going to be Batman? I'm not really for sure about that. So I owed him an apology, like I owed Ben Affleck an apology for playing Batman, because I didn't think either one of those were going to work, but both of them worked, and I thought it was great. I thought the Batman movie was really good, and was looking forward to seeing more of him in the DCU. But we're not going to get it, and who knows what's going to happen to Matt Reeves' trilogy. I just wish Gunn would kind of like look at what's in play, look at what works and keep it, instead of trying to force what he has. And that's what a good leader does, right? He takes his superstars and allows them to shine, as opposed to him being the superstar and everybody
Right.
looking at me. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, he gave us this slate, and he's already deviated from it a number of times. Like, he's already deviated from this slate a couple of times. So that, for me, that raises some questions. You know, the consistent, like, the only thing I can come up with is after Superman, the WB executives were just like, okay, forget your slate. We want to focus on getting Supergirl out there, and we want Man of Tomorrow. We need Batman, obviously, and we need a Wonder Woman project. You know, Booster Gold could go suck some eggs, and hopefully we don't lose Swamp Thing. I hope we don't lose Swamp Thing. I want Swamp Thing, but I feel like they're going to focus on the core characters in sort of the same way that Marvel is doing now as well. I feel like that's what's going to happen. But then again, they got the Clayface project already in production, but maybe that was already in production before they made this decision, and it's too costly to sort of shutter that and move on, because the actors can like have clauses in their contracts where they're like, hey, if you don't take us to series or to air, then you owe us X amount of dollars or whatever, right? So that can happen too. So there's all kinds of questions that would need to be answered to get a real clear understanding as to why things are happening the way that they are. But the fact remains is the slate is not the slate anymore. Lanterns and Clayface are going forward. Waller, nothing's happening with Waller. I think Creature Commandos is going to get a second season. I'm pretty sure that's happening. Peacemaker is doing Peacemaker because Peacemaker is a James Gunn project, and he's not going to shelve that. That's not happening. So yeah, but we don't really know where we're headed. Now, I think the thing that the world needs to accept, or that all of us fans sort of need to accept, is that this Batman that's going to be brought into the DCU is going to be the antithesis of Matt Reeves' Batman. And what does that look like? I know.
Yeah, it has to be.
I know. And that's the terrifying thought, because you can't just give us another street level detective story, because it'll be, maybe you can. Maybe you have the balls to do that. I don't recommend it. I think it'd be really stupid, but I've seen you do other stupid stuff lately. So I don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusions that James Gunn does his best work when he is not at the top of the pyramid. When somebody else is in charge of the larger picture, James thrives. He kicks ass and takes names, but he is not a CEO. And I'm okay with saying that, because he's not. Because if he was, his slate would still be on track. There wouldn't be people making claims about having meetings with him, and then him having to deny them online, and then them saying that, no, that's not true. There's just too much shit. There's just too much shit. And the only people defending James Gunn are the ones that hate Zack Snyder. So again, that doesn't help make this case for James Gunn, because the only people that are defending him are the people that have like these weird parasocial or antisocial relationship with Zack Snyder. That's it. The people that are in the middle, the people that can have rational conversations and can parse the good from the bad, they are not impressed with what James Gunn is doing right now. That's just a fact, and there's no escaping that. And now that the studio is potentially up for sale, is going to be subject to a hostile takeover or a takeover bid, who knows where we go?
Yeah.
Right? Like, who knows where we go? What do you envision this Batman being like?
God, I don't know. I mean, it's because I don't know where Gunn is headed. I mean, he's been very cagey about his details, so I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing Brave and the Bold being thrown around, and I'm a little frightened by that. Brave and the Bold is fun on a Saturday morning as an animated series, but not as a movie, not as a theme for Batman. So I don't know. But whatever Matt Reeves does, he's got to do the other. He's got to go the diametrically opposite end of that in some way just to avoid as many comparisons as possible. So what do I envision his Batman to be? I mean, if it's anything like, I don't know. I mean, you have Superman that's kind of campy. You have Peacemaker 2 that's really season 2, which is really adult. You have Lanterns that looks to be a true detective kind of gritty crime drama that's like Earth based. So you're kind of all over the place. I don't know. I mean, I want it to be like a detective story, but then you already have Lanterns doing that for you. Yeah. So if what he's saying is true on this podcast about being gothic, supernatural, gritty, let's do that. I mean, let's get John Constantine to make a guest appearance on there and go that route. I would actually be down for that and have what's that guy's name that played Constantine in the Arrowverse? Jeez, I'm picturing in my head.
Matt, I can't remember his last name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, him. He's the definitive Constantine now, and
Yeah,
he's great.
he is
He'd make
good.
a great foil to
Matt
Batman.
Ryan. Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, that's it.
Yeah,
And he'd make a great foil to Batman. If you want to do a team up movie, okay, but let's make it make sense. I mean, Matt Reeves is going down his road. He's going to continue his story that he told in the Batman 1, which is going to be, again, gritty street level detective story. His cannot be that. And I just don't know where that leaves Batman.
absolutely.
If he's not a detective, where does that leave him?
Right. And I think it puts him dangerously close to Adam West in 66.
We're going to see shark repellent on his belt.
I hope not, man, but that is not the direction I want to go.
Yeah.
Like I said, when James was talking to Segura and mentioned Denny and Neil, I was like, okay, maybe we can go in this direction and maybe things can be saved here, right? But here's the thing, and I've heard a lot of people talking about tone as of late with the DC, right? Or with the DCU. And I think that's a very important conversation because there's this misunderstanding with fans right now where they think that tone only comes from one place. But that's totally inaccurate from a creative standpoint. So the reason that Marvel is so good at their crossover films is because the tone is generated from the characters, and that's the characters only. Superman, the tone was generated from the world, everything.
Yeah.
Everybody sounded the same disposition, same energy, same color, same humor, even the wardrobe. Like if you look at the wardrobing for that movie, it's literally like neo retro. It's like stylized to the film itself. So the tone for Superman came from the world. The tone for Peacemaker comes from the world.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of tone from Peacemaker and there's a little bit of tone from Superman, but the tone of the world overshadows both of those characters. That's the problem. Because when you do a team up movie, you can't take tones from the world. You got to take tones from the character. And then when you have a villain driven story, you have to take the tone from the villain. The villain has to set the tone, just like Thanos did. Thanos set the tone for both Infinity Wars movies, pretty much.
Yep.
So you got to understand where the tone comes from, and you have to know how to apply it and move it around. And for some reason, I don't think that James has a good grip on how he's going to do that, because I don't want to see a Justice League movie at this point. That's how bad things are. Like, I don't think that you could put these characters in a crossover movie right now and have it make sense, because the audience is expecting from Superman what they got in Superman, and they're not going to get that. And the audience for Peacemaker is expecting what they got in Peacemaker, and they're not going to get that. And I think it's going to present a lot of creative challenges. You know, I'm not completely dismissing the idea that it still could be successful. I'm just saying I think that it presents far more challenges than it does solutions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when you talk about characters and tone, I mean, that's why the Arrowverse to me worked so well. You had Green Arrow that was dark and brooding. You had the Flash that was full of hope and joy, and their worlds matched their characters in that sense. But when you put them together in the crossover event episodes, they played off each other really well.
Yeah.
It brought a little bit of seriousness to Barry, that everything's not funny and everything's not a joke, that things are serious. And it brought a little hope and lightheartedness to Green Arrow, and gave each other a different version of their vision of their life and their worlds. Like you said, I don't know if I'm going to see that like with Peacemaker and Superman in the same movie. I mean, okay, granted, they were kind of in the same movie in Superman, but just not with each other. Them two in the same room, I don't know. I just don't see them like getting along at all or seeing each other's viewpoint. Peacemaker would think Superman's just this big blue Boy Scout, and Superman would think Peacemaker is like this, coke-fueled pervert. So I mean, with this strange eagle flying around him. So
yeah,
I don't know how I see them in a movie together.
Well, let's go back to your example of Arrow and Flash on the CW. If we unpack that, right? Again, Oliver and his Green Arrow persona and the other vigilantes are what created the tone in that show. That world wasn't necessarily overly tonally to exactly what he was like, or his tone. Sure, there was some darkness, like, the whole plot with his mother and the rich people in Star City, sure, and some of the other characters, but there was also a lot of other characters that brought levity and light to that particular world. Tommy and Thea before she went full vigilante too, but there was some light and there was some levity to that. And then the Flash, exact same thing. There were characters that brought some darkness to that story.
Yeah.
So again, it was very, very character driven. It wasn't necessarily world driven. Like, if you really look at the Flash world and you look at the Arrow world and you put the characters aside, they weren't really that much different. Star City and Center City were not really that much different in terms of the worlds that they built for those characters, if you really think about it. No, I may be splitting hairs here, but yeah, I don't I don't really see how they were that different at all, but I may be wrong. But feel free to, hit me up in the comments section if you think I'm wrong. I'm totally down to hear any arguments. Let's talk about casting for Batman because that's been a pretty big conversation that's been going on as of late.
Yeah, a lot of speculation.
Yeah, Brandon Sklenar. Is it Sklenar?
I think it's
Skellner?
Glenner.
Yeah, Sklenar. Brandon Sklenar
Sklenar.
from 1923. By the way, great series, amazing series.
Loved him in 1923.
He's awesome. He's awesome. I wanted him as Hal Jordan, if I was being honest, because
Yeah,
he is Hal Jordan to me. He
yeah.
is totally Hal Jordan. But he's like the front runner with the fans. Everybody wants him. I've also heard Jensen Ackles. I've also heard
Hmm.
Alan Richson. I want to see Jacob Elordi. That's who I want to see as Batman. That's who I would really like as Batman. The other ones I really like are Tyler Hoechlin, the guy that played Superman in the CW.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he
Oh
could do it.
wow.
I think he could do it. He could be great.
Yeah.
And then the other one I was thinking too was damn, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, I'll figure it out. You tell me who you'd like to see cast as Batman.
Yeah, I saw some talking about AI. I saw some CG Tyler Hoechlin in some bat suits, and it looked good. And I think he's a great Superman, Superman and Lois. Love that series. So him as Batman would be kind of interesting. I do like Brandon Sklenar. I liked him in 1923. I haven't really, he wasn't on my radar before 1920. I haven't seen anything, or I don't
No,
remember
same
seeing
for
him in
me.
anything
Yeah.
before 1923. But now he's in a couple of different projects. But I think he's great. He has that dark, brooding kind of mentality in 1923.
Oh, he's scary as dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, the guy's out there hunting lions in the savannah. So
Yeah, but even when he's just quiet, like even when things are good, he's terrifying.
great. I thought he was great in 1923. I think he'd
Yeah.
make a really good Batman. Alan Richson, he's a big dude. I don't know if I like him as Batman though. I don't know. Maybe I got him stuck as Aquaman in my head from Smallville a little bit, but I don't see him as Batman. I feel like this is gonna sound weird. I feel like he's too big to be Batman. Like Brandon Sklenar is kind of like because you want him to,
Yeah, but Batman is like
Bat.
5, like 220, like 230 or some shit. Like that's his literal stats.
Yeah, I guess. But when he's Bruce Wayne, you want him to kind of blend in
Into the
and kind
background.
of, yeah, blend into the background. Otherwise, how many 6'5", 270 people are there, right? So,
250, yeah.
um,
But yeah.
yeah, 250. So I like Brandon Sklenar's kind of physique a little bit better for Batman. Alan Richardson just sticks out like a sore thumb. I would be like, man, that dude's about the size of Batman. That Bruce Wayne. You
That's an
know,
interesting point. Yeah.
so, but Tyler Hoechlin, I think, would be good too. I kind of picture my Batman lean and muscly, not like Bruce Lee, not that
Okay.
lean, but just kind of leaner
Right.
and leaner than Alan.
Okay.
But I think Alan's great. I just don't see him as Batman.
Yep. I remember the other guy, Sam Witwer. I like Sam
Oh,
Witwer as
I
Batman.
love Sam Whitmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
He'd
He's
be
good
great
too.
because he's like super athletic. He's got I think he's got a little bit of a Bruce Wayne look, not exactly a Bruce Wayne look.
Yeah,
Like it's almost the same sort of casting idea as like Joaquin Phoenix for Doctor Strange. Like he doesn't exactly look like Doctor Strange, but
yeah.
it could be pulled off. So I think Sam Witwer would be good too. But
And Whitwer's got that voice, like playing Darth Maul for as long as he's got
yeah,
that gravelly voice that does really well as Batman.
yeah, he could
So
be good.
yeah, that's a good pick too.
Yeah, he could be good. Who do you think they're gonna choose?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
If you had to put money on it, if you're playing Kelsey right now, who are you putting your money on?
I mean, he went with a relative unknown for Superman with David Cornsweet, so I would
Yeah,
imagine he probably would do the same for Batman. So I'm probably thinking a Brandon Skellner, because he's not
Sklenar,
that
yeah,
big of a household name yet. He's still, I think he's looking for somebody to a career to launch, like he did with Cornsweet. Like Cornsweet's going to have his pick of roles,
yeah.
for the foreseeable future.
Plus, it's budget friendly.
Yeah, and it's budget friendly too. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking probably not Alan Richardson. He's probably fetching a good amount of money ever since doing Reacher.
yeah. But James said that he does have a big star that's after the Batman role.
Hmm.
He does.
Wonder what
He,
that's
he
going to
has
be.
been saying that, but he was also saying that there's a good chance that he's not going to go for it.
Yeah. Well, you kind of look at his casting choices previously, like Guardians. He put Chris Pratt in there for Guardians, and nobody thought like Chris Pratt, the fat guy from Parks and Rec, is going to play a Marvel superhero. You know, I will say Gunn casts well. He does cast well, so I have confidence in who he's going to
He
put in the
almost didn't
cowl.
cast Chris Pratt though. Like there's a story behind that. Apparently, it was one of the casting agents that like pestered James to like give Chris a read to do the role because James was interested in Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny
Mm.
and somebody else. Aaron Paul also read for the role, and then there was another guy. I'm trying to remember who it was. Crap, I can't remember. But yeah, the casting agent was the one that sort of was like, James, you got to meet with this guy. Like you gotta give him a shot. I'm glad he did because like
Yeah,
Chris is great. Chris is
Chris is
awesome.
great.
Yeah,
Yep.
by the way, that's the other thing on this channel. We don't hate Chris Pratt. We have nothing against Chris Pratt. We think Chris Pratt's amazing.
I don't have anything against Chris Pratt. He's great.
There's lots of people that just want to hate Chris Pratt because he's a Christian and they don't like his belief
Oh,
system.
I mean, it's fine. He's not annoying about it. He's not like Dean
No,
Cain.
he's not.
I mean, you know what
He's
I'm
not like
saying?
Dean Cain or Kevin Sorbo. Yeah.
Or Kevin Sorbo. I mean, you know,
Too funny.
he's good about it. He
He's
pulls it
good
out
about
when
it.
necessary.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. So, did you catch the trailer for Grogu and the Mandalorian?
Yeah, you know, it was a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I thought it did its job. I liked it. I'm kind of excited for it. I
Oh,
mean,
dude, don't tell me you're
you
excited for this. Really?
I like the Mandalorian last season, notwithstanding, but
Right.
I like the Mandalorian. It hit all the beats. You have the marketing with Grogu. You got the stuffed animal plushy, you know,
Right.
toy line vision with Grogu and the requisite coups and all that. And you see some things that kind of make you know, oh, he's got the Razor Crest back. Wonder how that happened. And some really cool action set pieces. What looks like a hut cage fight or something. So it was a quick minute and a half. It didn't tell me anything about it, which is good. You know,
Right.
I don't want to know. I mean, I'm sure it's an extension of, you know, the series, obviously. But I think it hit everything it needed to hit. You got your cute level, you got your action set pieces, you got Pedro Pascal saying a funny line and to Grogu, and we're off to the races. So yeah, I mean, it's not coming out till what, May 2026. So a lot of time between now and then to speculate about a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, it was a good action packed trailer of a teaser, and yeah, I'm up for it.
So, 3 days before they dropped this trailer, Disney Plus announced that they were raising their prices again.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of raising prices on stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen, man, this is the way I see it. Disney Plus asking to raise their subscription price right now is like an athlete that's having his worst season ever going in and negotiating for more money.
Yeah, I mean the quality, the output quality of Star Wars and the Marvel side of the house has not been great.
It's been dog crap
Which for
as of
me,
late, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, which for me is the main reason why I have Disney Plus. I mean, I do like the old Disney Plus or the Disney Vault. I do love that stuff, and
Right.
I always fire up Hercules every so often. It's one
Well,
of my
you got
favorite Disney
kids,
movies.
so yeah.
So that's fun. And then, you know, the wife likes the Nat Geo stuff. I kind of look at it as the overall value of the streaming service, and
Right.
it's got a lot of stuff. For me, the $2, I think it was a $2 raise. It's not a deal breaker for me yet. I mean, it's gonna be where I'm like comparing all my streaming services, and I'm like, how much was I paying for cable when I had it, and then kind of thinking about how much I want to keep. But for right now, I mean, it's not a deal breaker. I thought it was in bad form that they did it right after the whole Kimmel situation going down, because
Absolutely,
then
dude. Yeah, that was up.
it almost looks like, and I'm sure, look, they probably had this this raising prices thing planned well before this whole Kimmel thing
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
But nobody saw that and said, whoa, 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 let's pump the brakes on that, because a whole bunch of people canceled because of Kimmel.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in the doghouse because of the way we handled that. And now we're going to ask him to pay $2 more a month. Let's pump the brakes on. Nobody stopped that. I know there's somebody somewhere that could have done that,
I
but
agree.
nobody did.
Yeah.
And so had the Kimmel thing not happened, this would have just been like a side note in your local news after the weather. But because Kimmel did it, or because of what happened with Kimmel, and then they did this, oh, now it's all this scrutiny and like, oh, you're just money grabbing because all these people canceled their Disney Plus subscription, and now you got to make up for it. It's like you just keep digging that hole, Disney. Keep doing it.
Yeah, the optics of it are not good. They're not
It was
good at all.
bad.
Yeah,
It was
really
bad,
bad.
man.
Really
Like
bad.
somebody somewhere should have stopped it and just let the news cycle do its thing. What's a month? What's a month or two for a $2 price range? Are you that much in the hole to where you still have to do it now that you couldn't have waited a couple of months and let the Kimmel thing die down, let everybody get back to normal, and then you say, oh, okay, January 1st, we're raising the prices. Everybody would have been like, oh, okay, or had to make a decision, based on their
Right.
pocketbook. But now you got people making emotional decisions again, and that's where you don't want to be as a company.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad, man. But yeah, you're right. Like the optics of it aren't good. And as a PR professional, I can tell you that that's one of those moments where like I'm pulling the fire alarm at the last moment and I'm like, nope, don't do it. Let's not do
Yeah.
it. I advise you. I strongly advise you. I couldn't advise you more not to do this. It would be an escalation of advisements where I'm covering my ass on paper that says, I told you, don't do this, just to make sure. It's one of those situations. And somebody didn't jump into the middle and try and stop this. And they definitely should have. Um,
Yeah.
but let's go back to Mandalorian and Grogu because the response to this online has been mixed, very mixed. There's a
Sure.
lot of fans who are excited for it, and I can see why. A lot of fans are really big fans of Grogu, really big fans of The Mandalorian, sure. But at the end of the day, I get where the other fans are coming from because they're more or less calling this a reboot of the Clone Wars animated movie. It's basically the same exact plot structure, which couldn't be more accurate.
Well, look, Filoni's in charge of both, and you write
Right.
what you know. So I think if you have Filoni and Favreau as a part of this, well, more Filoni than Favreau. This is right in his wheelhouse, and I don't know if I want to see a reboot of a story arc in Clone Wars with swapping out Mandalorian
No, no, no,
people
no. It's
for
the
it.
no. It's the Clone Wars animated movie, the first one with Ahsoka that did so horribly well or horribly
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Horribly bad. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, same reasoning. It's still
Yeah.
Filoni, right? So Filoni's over both properties, and that's kind of like his baby. So I'm not surprised that you're going to see elements of that in this movie. It's write what you know, like Gunn with Superman. You write what you know,
Yeah,
and
but
sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah,
we'll see.
but what does it say to Star Wars fans that they can't even come up with a fresh idea?
Nobody can come up with anything original.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is it saying to fans right now? And honestly, I'm at the point where Filoni is a liability to the brand. He
Mm.
was he was he was a total benefit to the brand back in the day, but he's become a total liability to the brand. And it started with what he did with Ahsoka. Like, how do you screw that shit up? Like, all you had to do is stick to her story. All you had to do is stick to, no, I'm not a Jedi. Okay, well, what happens if you're not a Jedi? Okay, let's follow that storyline. And he didn't follow that storyline. He just was like shoehorn her back into the Jedi. Yeah, let's go. Okay, let's make it work. It just didn't do it. Sure, there's a lot of fans that enjoyed it, but again, I'm of the mind that the audience necessarily aren't as discerning as they used to be. I feel like there's a lot of like, I got to use this word again, hope core. Like there's almost like this sense of hope within audiences and this sense of positivity where they will just let anything go so it doesn't create some sort of negative dialogue about a project. They're just like, it's not a big deal. I let them copy stuff. Let them make derivative shit. It's fine. Like I almost feel like that's the case with this. But yeah, I don't think it sends a very good message about Star Wars right now. The fact that they can't come up with an original story. Not to say that
Yeah.
I had high hopes for Mandalorian and Grogu because I did not at all. Why aren't we focusing on like a real Star Wars movie with Jedi and Sith and all that? Like why aren't we focusing our attention and our energy and our money on that part of the franchise? That's that leaves a lot of questions.
People love Grogu and can't get enough of him. That's why.
He can't be that popular.
Dude, I got a Grogu dog tag for my Chihuahua. I'm just
Okay.
saying, people love that stuff, man. It's all merchandising. It's all toy sales. It's safe. Everybody's playing it safe. With Hollywood kind of having a down year in terms of box office, people are playing it safe.
That's fair. That's fair. And you're probably right about that. I definitely think that nobody's taking risks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like nobody's swinging for the fences or like nobody's really trying to experiment or move beyond the norm or they're
I
not
mean,
really
not with
trying to
IP.
challenge the norms. Yeah.
Yeah. Not with IP, not with Star Wars, not with Marvel, not with
Right.
DC. Not with established characters. You're not going to do that.
Well, Marvel goes out and they get, Marvel goes out and they get, they bring Robert Downey Jr. back to play Doctor Doom. Like, I think that signals as to like how creative things are going to be at the House of the Mouse for a while, or the House of Mouse for a while.
Yeah, that's the definition of playing it safe.
Yeah. Yeah, not to say that I don't think that they have something interesting cooked up, because I do. Like I have this sneaking suspicion that the story and the way that they're gonna justify this Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is gonna be so mind-blowing that we're just gonna be like, "Oh my god," like in awe of the creativity behind it. That's my
One can
feeling
hope.
right now.
One can hope.
One can hope. And here I was talking about how silly Hopecore is, but it's interesting. But yeah, I'm not excited for Mandalorian and Grogu. Star Wars has fallen out of favor with me quite a bit lately. It was more or less what Filoni did to the Force, making it like yoga. I know that this was originally George Lucas's idea. I get that part, but if I'm a producer or I'm a part of the creative team on Star Wars, if I come across an idea like that, I'm not going to amplify it. I'm going to kill it in its crib. If I come across an idea like that, I'm going to say, "You know what? This idea just causes more problems than it's worth," because once you introduce this idea that the Force was like yoga, that had, well, me personally, and I don't know, you guys out there, maybe you guys are, or maybe this will have you thinking the same thing, but I was saying to myself, well, what does that say about the way that the Jedi and the Sith recruited initiates? If it's just like the Force, why wouldn't they go out and just hire the most physically dominant alien species out there, the Transdoshans and the Wookiees? Because if you can teach the Force to anybody, teach it to the guys that are the biggest, the strongest, and the most terrifying and have the most teeth, because then you have a real battlefield advantage. And also, why not train the clone troopers? If you can teach the Force to anybody, why not train all the clone troopers on how to use the Force? So it immediately pokes a hole, a hole in that idea. Really doesn't leave it anywhere to go. Like, it doesn't really have any more legs after that. Like, it's been completely invalidated when you start asking these kinds of questions. It doesn't really make any sense to do something like that. How did you feel about that decision?
I mean, I wasn't against it. Changing the Force from something that's innately in somebody to a skill that can be learned. I get it from a storytelling perspective that you need to have some people learn how to use the Force. That's in your core cast because you said so.
Well, Sabine didn't need to be a Jedi, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
she was awesome as she was. She was great as she was.
Yeah.
She was an excellent character, and I don't know why she had to be a Jedi. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of look at it as like, almost like professional sports, right? Any kid can go out there and play pee-wee football, but are they all going to be, Tom Brady's? No,
right.
Only a select few can become that. And some have the dedication to stick with it long enough to become that, and some don't. Same thing with professional wrestling. If we always pick the biggest guys to be professional wrestlers, they all don't work out because they don't have the skill or they don't have the mindset to do it, and they end up looking the part but can't be the part. So I'm not against it. I don't think it invalidates or lessens what the Force is. For somebody to not have the Force and to learn it, I think is a great storytelling device versus somebody that has it innately in them and they just learn how to use it too. I don't know. It's fine to me. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't think it punches too many holes in anything. Like, just like yoga, I guess. Some people learn it and are really great at it and can do these really crazy handstands, and some people just, can do downward dog and that's it.
Yeah, but it undermines the mysticism behind it. It undermines the grandness of it, and the other worldly factors of it, like the spiritual essence of it. Yeah, like because the way that I always saw the Force was the way that we looked at the X gene in Marvel, right? Like that's kind of what it was like,
true.
right? And
if everybody's special, then nobody's special.
That's the other part of it. So like to me, that was almost the death of Star Wars in my mind. Like for me, because before hearing that, before Filoni did that, I would hear that Force theme and I would get goosebumps, because the way that I would envision, what I would envision when I hear that song is like basically the Force crossing the galaxy, looking for a vessel, looking for somebody to accept it, looking for somebody, or Yeah, or looking for a vessel, looking for something to attach itself to. Looking for a being worthy of it. And that's what always got me so excited about it, was that it was unique in that way. And it's not unique like that anymore. But what can you do? Anyways, guys, I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Be sure to check out all of our socials at Court of Lore HQ. We're on everything: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, our clips. Like I said in the last episode, those are our receipts. Go check them out. Feel free to comment, share your thoughts, share your theories, share your ideas, share your insights, and we will definitely get back to you. We've been having a lot of fun engaging with you guys on social media as of late. And I think we may even try and do a call-in show really soon. We want to connect with some of you guys. We think it'll be a good time. So we will let you guys know when we do that. But to be continued, I'm Frank McGuire.
And I'm Rich Herrera.
Peace.